It's the biggest shake-up in President Zelensky's leadership team since the start of the war. Irina Vendiktova was the Prosecutor General. Ivan Balakov headed the Internal Security Agency. Both have been suspended. President Zelensky says 651 cases of treason, people working with the Russians, are being investigated in their offices, and both could face being fired by Parliament.
Such an array of crimes against the foundations of the state's national security and the links recorded between Ukrainian security force officials and Russian special services raises very serious questions about their respective leaders. Each of these questions will receive a proper response. Today, I've taken the decision to dismiss the General Prosecutor and the head of the Ukrainian Security Service.
There's no suggestion that either figure was actively working against Ukraine. Instead, this is more a question of accountability, a failure of leadership in their respective departments. Bakanov was a childhood friend of the president. He was involved in the entertainment industry, and his appointment to run internal security was a surprise. When the Russians moved into Kherson early in the war, that was seen as a huge intelligence failure by his department. Over the weekend, dozens attended the funeral of a 4-year-old killed in the fighting. Lisa Dmitrieva died when rockets hit Vinnytsia last week. Her body was found in the rubble. She is the latest child victim of a war which, according to new figures from the United Nations, has claimed more than 5,020 civilian lives, 300 of them children, and seen more than 6,520 people wounded. This, as towns and cities across the south and east woke up to the sound of war, moving into its 21st week. Alan Fisher, Al Jazeera, Kyiv.
Well, Doug Klain is from the Atlantic Council's Eurasia Centre. He says Zelensky must act quickly to find replacements for the two suspended officials.
So I do think that these are significant. And the big thing that observers and experts are going to be watching for is who comes next. Zelensky has appointed an acting prosecutor general to replace Venediktova. He's not yet appointed somebody to replace Ukraine's top intelligence and security chief. During wartime, that is an essential role. So that's the big thing that experts are going to be watching for, who comes next. The other thing here is that while a reason wasn't given by President Zelensky for why he fired the prosecutor general, he said that these security breaches were the big reason why he lost confidence in his security chief. Just today, Ukraine's SBU head for Crimea was arrested on charges of high treason and passing intelligence to Russians. He is one of many high officials in the intelligence services who have been charged with these charges of collaborating with the invaders. One of the big things that Prosecutor General Venediktova was mired in for much of her term was failing to properly reform her office and allowing and sabotaging investigations into bribery cases and failing to properly do her execute her duties. So for the prosecution of war crimes, that is one of the top priorities for Ukrainians, and it's something that the international community has taken very serious interest in aiding them with. So whoever comes next, the international community is going to be trying to work with them very closely to make sure that there's no hiccup in making sure that these crimes are prosecuted.